So we are on to studying a very interesting topic, and that is species in news, and let's try covering 6 species in today's video lecture. So we'll be talking about olive ridley turtle here. Now this species is extremely important for our exam, and every word of this slide is extremely important. So we'll be covering this slowly. We'll proceed slowly. Alright. Number 1 is its name. So it's definitely olive ridley turtle. Why are we calling it olive? Because its carapace, that is its outer body, it is of olive color and it is of heart shape, and this is the reason why we are calling it olive ridley turtle. That's it. It feeds on what? It feeds on jellyfish, snails, crabs, shrimp, and that makes it a carnivorous. But occasionally it can eat algae as well as seaweed as well. So this is either way something not important. That's it. Most important thing is the aribada. Now what is aribada? It's a unique mast nesting. They are best known for their unique mast nesting, and we just call it aribada, where thousands of females, they come together on the same beach to lay eggs, and this is what we calling as a unique. And it's also lot of females are coming together, thousands in number, so that makes it a mass exercise, and they come onto beach to lay eggs. That is basically nesting, and this is why we are calling it unique mass nesting. And then humans have given it a name, and that is simply aribada. That's it. Their habitat is important because question can be asked onto this. So they live in warm and tropical waters of primarily Pacific, Indian and Atlantic Ocean. So they are not found in cold water of the temperate region. They are actually found in the warm water, and we know warm water is right there in the tropicals, and specifically primarily it's there in the olive ridley turtles are there in the Pacific, Indian and Atlantic Ocean. This is important. It's not just Atlantic or Indian, it is equally Pacific as well. That's it. Now moving on to the threats. So what are the threats to them? Otherwise all the threats are simple except the light pollution, but let's just proceed this way now. First threat is poaching. Poaching for what? For their meat, shell, leather and their eggs. This is either way obvious. Humans are so greedy, they just want the olive for everything. It could be their meat, shell, leather, egg. Further, some people have this habit of keeping them as their pet. So this is how pet trading comes into picture. Then trawl nets is another threat to them. So basically here fishermen or fisherwomen, they just go to ocean and then they spread their nets to catch fish, but unfortunately in those nets even these olive ridleys are also getting caught, and this is why government is pushing very hard to incorporate the these olive ridley or basically turtle excluders in the nets, but that is something expensive exercise, and people or fishermen or fisherwomen, they just want subsidy thing from the government, but then entire expenditure, huge expenditure is involved here in order to replace the entire traditional setup with the modern setup in which the turtles would not be caught by the nets. But let's just not deviate now. All we have to keep in mind is that all right, fishing by the community, fishermen, fisherwomen, also something that is a threat to the olive ridley turtles, because this is how they get caught onto the nets. That's it. Next is exploitation of nesting beaches for pots. Now these turtles, although they live in sea, but as we have already seen, because of their unique mass nesting, they come onto beaches to lay eggs, but then all the beaches are occupied by people either for tourist purpose or for building ports. So this is how they are not getting the ground for laying the eggs. Now the most important is light pollution. So how could a light be a pollutant to these olive ridley turtles? So basically we have to understand one thing here, that when the baby turtles come out of the eggs, they are to be directed towards the sea because they live in sea, and this is how it happens. Moonlight, it falls onto the ocean, and this is how they are directed towards moving onto the sea. But then unfortunately, just opposite to this natural phenomenon of the natural lighting, we are having the artificial lightning as well, in terms of we are having street lights, then there is a vehicular lights, and this is how the baby turtles, they get confused. Instead of moving towards the ocean, they just end up going towards the roadside, and they unfortunately come under fast moving traffic, and this is how they die on the spot. So light is acting as a pollutant, and this time, because we are all inside our homes, human beings are not there on the beaches, and they have carried out this unique mass nesting exercise in a very, very peaceful and a very good manner. So definitely it's a good thing for the wildlife now that people are inside. So we have studied this thing. Last is ingestion of the marine debris, and this is either way simple. Marine debris, it could be anything, plastic or tar, or could be any oil, lubricant, any waste material that can be ingested by the olive ridley, and this is how they end up going into their stomach, and definitely these are the toxic substances, and they die after eating these things. So that's it. Every word here is important. Under sites, they are under appendix 1 and under schedule 1 of the WLP 1972, that is Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Schedule 1, please memorize this. Under IUCN, they are vulnerable. This is either way obvious, and maybe not that obvious, we just have to memorize it. I don't think there is anything obvious here. So we have studied the olive ridley turtle. Please memorize this thing, but if we are to go for a quick revision, then definitely it's the name that is important. They are carnivorous. They are famous for their aribada, that is unique mass nesting. They are found in warm and tropical waters of Pacific, Indian and Atlantic Ocean. Threats are poaching, pet trading, trawl nets, exploitation of ports, tourist, light pollution, ingestion of marine debris. Appendix 1, Schedule 1, vulnerable, that's it. There is just one point that we are yet to cover, and that is in this map. So here we have to keep a tab in few things, and not few things, is just one thing, that where do they carry this mass nesting exercise in India. So it's definitely onto the Gari Mata here, and then Devi Mouth, and in Rishikulya Sanctuary. So these three places, majorly these are the three places where these aribada thing is carried out by these olive ridley turtles. There are certain minor places as well, but those are not important. Basically it's the Gahid Matha Sanctuary, then we have Devi Mouth, and then we have Rishikulya, and these three are in the state of Odisha. That's it. There's nothing further to explain here. All we have to do is to memorize every point, so that is making it way more interesting now. So let's get on to second species, and that again is indeed very beautiful. It's the paddy frog. So what is important? Alright, so paddy frog is a genus. We know in a hierarchy we have species, genus, family, order, kingdom, and it's a genus. It's right here, and under this genus we have 4 recognized species of this very frog. But right now what we have done is we have come across a 5th one, where in the northeastern India and primarily in Assam, and we have named that species as Aishiani. Aishiani is a Sanskrit word, and its meaning is northeast. So what we have studied, there is a genus paddy frog, and more complicated or scientific name of that genus is Microletta. Alright, it's a narrow-mouthed frog, and it is commonly known as paddy frog. It is primarily and widely distributed in the Southeast Asia. That's it. We know only 4 of them, but right now we have discovered a 5th one, and we have named it Microletta aishiani. Where we have discovered it? Right there in northeast India, primarily in Assam, and we have named it as Aishiani, which is definitely a Sanskrit name, and its name is northeast. But it is likely that it would be distributed not just in Assam, but it would be found in other states as well. This is either way obvious. Of course, wildlife would not be getting to know of the political boundaries of any nation. Assam is there, right at its vicinity. Meghalaya is there, Bhutan is there. It could be found anywhere, but let's just not deviate now. So it is likely to be more widely distributed in northeast India, particularly Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot region. I'm sure we know where Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot region is. Alright, because it's a new species, so we haven't yet assigned it any IUCN status or anything, but one of the species, its name is Microletta stanageri. It is under the endangered category of the IUCN red list, and it's not very important. So we have studied it holistically, thoroughly, and I think we have done the revision as well. It's not that difficult, it's easy, and that's it. So we'll be talking about the next species now, which again is not that difficult. The name of the species is slightly difficult. It's Vesposaurus paranensis. Basically, it's a fossil. Fossil of what? Of a dinosaur. And this is it. It's a fossil of dinosaur that used to live some 90 million years ago. So this fossil has been recently discovered from where? From Parana state in southern Brazil, and that's it. VP Vesposaurus paranensis was in news. What is it? It's a fossil of a dinosaur species that used to live some 90 million years ago. Where? In southern Brazil. At least this is a place from where fossil has been recovered, and scientists would be studying it further now. It was basically a theropod. Now what is a theropod? Theropod is a group of dinosaurs that used to eat meat. So meat-eating dinosaurs are included in this very group, which we have named as a theropod. And what two other are the ones that are into this group? We have tyrannosaurs and we have velociraptor. Alright, so this is how it is. Again, there is nothing to be understood much. All we have to do is to memorize. And let's talk a bit about Parana river as well. So Parana state is in southern Brazil, and there one river flows and its name is Parana river. It's in central South America, and it passes through 3 nations: Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina. Alright. It is the second in length only to the Amazon river among the South American rivers. Definitely, we can be talking about the entire earth here. We're talking about Southern American continent here only, and within that very continent we have the longest river as Amazon, and after that we are having this Parana river. That's it. Not very important, but still we are to cover everything, and this is the reason. So what did we study from here? Vesposaurus paranensis is the fossil of a dinosaur that used to live some 90 million years ago right there in the Parana state in southern Brazil. It was a theropod, and we are having tyrannosaurs and velociraptor too as the theropod, and they all used to eat meat. And Parana river is in the southern America. It passes through 3 nations: Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, and it is the second in length only to the Amazon river. That's it. So among South American rivers, definitely we can be talking about the entire earth here. We're talking about South American continent only. It was really simple. Kindly pause the video, try reading it on your own, try watching it again, and try memorizing it. That's it. So we'll be talking about the next species now, which is a great gray owl. Now it's not that difficult. First of all, it is world's largest species of owl by length. Not very important. What is important is this, that it is from the genus Strix, and under genus Strix there are various species of this very owl, and the one that we're studying right now, which is the great gray owl, it is the only species which is found in both eastern as well as western hemisphere of northern hemisphere. This is important. So distributed across northern hemisphere, that's it, and it is the only species in the genus Strix found in both eastern and western hemisphere. That is it. Alright, in some area it is called phantom of the north, cinereous owl, spectral owl, Lapland owl, spruce owl, birded owl, and sooty owl. Not very important. Alright, what are the threats to them? So these northern spotted owl, because we know great gray owl are also northern spotted owl, they are as a sooty owl, birded owl, spruce owl, so we can name any one of them. And they require unlocked, that is uncut, expansive, that is very vast, mature, that is well developed, coniferous forest strands with large trees. That's it. Under CITES they are appendix 1. Under IUCN they are having least concerned status. That is it. Again, something to be memorized. Why we are studying it? Because it was a study carried out by biologists, that study has warned us that apart from this thing about logging operation, which is a threat to this very owl, there is one more threat now, that is a competition from the invasive barred owl species. So this great owl is having a competition from its brother species, which is barred owl species, because that is an invasive one. If it gets into their place, it's gonna eat up everything quickly. They're gonna get hold over whatever they are eating, wherever they are residing. So this is how they would be driven out of their habitat. So invasive species barred owl is also giving them a threat, and this was the context. So we have studied about the great grey owl as well. It was largest species. It is the largest species of owl by length. It is distributed across northern hemisphere. It is found in eastern and western hemisphere. We're calling it phantom of the north, Sonorous owl, spectral owl, Lapland owl, spruce owl, birded owl, sooty owl. It requires unlocked, expansive, mature, coniferous forest stand. It's appendix second, least concerned, and it are having threat from the invasive barred owl species. That's it. So we have covered this as well. It has turned out to be a 15-minute video already, but let's just talk about the wild yak as well, then we'll end the video. And its photo right over here, it's a white color and it is standing near hills. So this explains everything, that wild yak is something that lives adjacent hilly or high altitude regions, and most important thing is they are endemic to Tibetan Plateau. That's it. This is point number 1, and it belongs to Bovini tribe, and under this Bovini tribe we have various organisms, we have various animals, for example bisons, buffaloes, cattle, and yak is also one of them. This is not very important. Further, because they can live in the Tibetan Plateau, that is either way explaining that they can tolerate low temperature, and they can tolerate temperature as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. That's it. What are the threats to them? So casual and market hunting is there. They are hunted for its meat, horns, etc. And now this is important, that these wild yak, they are reservoir for zoonotic disease. Zoonotic diseases are the ones that get spread from animals to humans, and of both bacterial and viral origins. For example, anthrax we know is a bacterial disease, then we have botulism, then we have tetanus, and then we have tuberculosis. So zoonotic disease is something that they carry, and people residing right near them, they too can have this very disease, because these are the zoonotic ones. That's it. IUCN is their vulnerable status, and they are under appendix 1 of CITES, and they are under schedule 2nd or schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Very important. Vulnerable, appendix 1, schedule 2, and this is it. Other things were either way simple and obvious, except one, that they are endemic to Tibetan Plateau, because they can live in the temperature as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius as well. So they reside there in the high altitude regions. That's it. But there is just one species left, and then we'll be done with all the species of month of June. So let's just cover this as well. Its name is slightly difficult, but the underlying details are very simple. The name is Anoplotrupis tavangensis. This is how it is. You too can look at it, try pronouncing it, try memorizing it. That's it. Alright, so it is a new species of dung beetle. Why we're calling it dung beetle? Because it feeds on dung, and it's a new species. This is important. From where has it been discovered? From Arunachal Pradesh and the Tawang district. That's it. This could be a probable question. A new species was discovered of dung beetle. Where was it? It was in Arunachal Pradesh. That's it. What is the difference between the ordinary beetle and the dung beetle? So as we can see right here in the photo, A is an ordinary beetle, B is a dung beetle. B's color is darker than the A's, and B is bigger than the A, and this is the difference. Further, it belongs to a superfamily, and it's again a difficult one, Scarabeidae. Alright, having a clubbed antenna and legs, which are modified for burrowing dung inside the soil. Now this thing is important. So they bury dung deep inside the soil, and this is how they sort of enrich the soil, because dung, we know, is a sort of manure, and if it gets into the soil, it would somehow be adding nutrients to the soil. So they are the indicators of ecological health of an ecosystem. Basically, they are little recyclers because they feed right onto the mammalian dung, and they need mammalian dung to survive, that is dung of mammal. So if mammals are there, it means, if beetles are there, it means mammals are there, and if mammals are there, it means ecology is good. Air is good, water is good, everything is good, food is there for the mammals to eat, and this indicates the ecological health of an ecosystem. This is either way simple. So what we have studied from here is this, that it's a new species of dung beetle found where in Arunachal Pradesh, and it belongs to a superfamily. That name is absolutely not important. They are little recyclers. They can bury dung deep inside the soil, and they need mammalian dung to survive. They help in nutrient recycling of the soil. They are indicators of the ecological health of an ecosystem. That's it. So we have covered all the species that were in news in the month of June 2019. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the species that were in the news in the month of July 2019. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. But just one last thing, that you can download this PDF from the Telegram channel, the link of which I would be putting right there in the description box. So download this PDF from the Telegram channel, and you are good to go, good to revise the things in a very, very quick manner. That's it. So we are done. Thank you so much for watching once again, and goodbye.